Have you ever had a mysterious object suddenly appear in your house? An object you had never seen before, never knew existed? Well, this happened to me and a group of my family members after performing a summer solstice ritual.
Hi, I'm Alexandra, and I'm excited to empower you to embody your electric radiance. Join me as we explore spiritual and metaphysical topics that will spark your third eye open and connect you to the universe.
So before I get into all of the details as to how and why this object appeared in my life, the explanation for it actually came through in a recent quantum healing hypnosis session that I had with my friend and colleague Heather at Quantum Healing Within. I'll put a link to that session below. The full session is over on her YouTube channel. So some of you are already familiar with the fact that I practice beyond quantum healing, which is what this session was, where I received this explanation. And because Beyond Quantum Healing is part of my spiritual process, I will be offering some more sessions soon. And to kick that off, I'm doing a giveaway. If you're interested in winning that, it's really easy. All you have to do is watch this video. You're already watching. Give it a like, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment about what you think about this video. I'm gonna leave all of the details in the description and share this video with others who also might wanna be in the drawing. So those of you who have been following me and have watched some of my videos, I mentioned that my mother passed earlier this year. It was a very difficult time for me. I was acting as her caregiver and primary patient advocate through the entire process. She passed at the end of May, and we chose as a family not to have a traditional funeral. It's not something that she really would have wanted. She was cremated and didn't practice a particular religion, although did identify as a self-proclaimed pagan goddess worshiper and witch. We may in the future have a traditional memorial where we invite maybe extended family members and friends and things like that. We felt an appropriate way to celebrate my mother's life was with a small ceremony of close family members at our home at the summer solstice. My husband and I had been living with my parents since the pandemic and then stayed on longer to help with my mother's care. We're still here at the moment. But you guys know that we're semi-nomadic people, so we might be in a different location coming up, details soon. But in the meantime, we chose to celebrate my mother's life during the summer solstice with a beautiful goddess-centric ritual. I led the ritual as priestess, and everyone participated. We all wrote down remembrances and eulogies about my mother, and we all had a chance to speak in the circle. And then we all wrote on another piece of paper what we wanted to manifest and create in this very fertile summer solstice time. We burned our papers after reading them on the fire that we'd created in the center of the circle. We'd called in all the elements. It was really beautiful. The dogs were there. We set up this beautiful altar for my mom and her dog, Dinah, who's now 17 years old, took a moment to sit by the altar, and really we felt like Dinah was really tapped into her mom's presence. When we all came inside and were gathering as a family and chatting and eating and, just having a wonderful time together, my husband, Russell, and my nephew, Jack, went downstairs to my mom's art room in the basement. My mom was a wonderful artist. They went downstairs to the art room and were just kind of looking through some of the artwork. They happened to open a box and found a portrait. And it's so strange because no one knew this portrait existed. It's like it almost just appeared after the solstice ritual. And you can see, we'll put a picture in of my mom's senior picture from high school. that's hanging on the wall, and you can see that this is a portrait of that photo, and it's signed Sophia S. So someone else painted this for my mom. We don't know who. I actually looked through like an old yearbook of hers to see if maybe it was a classmate, because she took art classes in high school, and I thought, well, maybe it was one of her fellow art classmates, but I couldn't find anyone by the name of Sophia like in any of the high school yearbooks in any of the years. I might do a little more searching. If you're watching this and you know my mom from the past, maybe you know who Sophia is, because no one in our family group who participated in this ritual knew about this portrait. And what I think is really interesting, it's like a parallel reality, because in my mom's senior photo, she's wearing blue, and this is green. A little bit different, right? But it's quite good. You can tell it's like from the 60s. My mom graduated high school in 1961 from East Detroit High School, now East Point. I'm blown away. It's a beautiful portrait. It's gorgeous, but no one knew it existed. And I thought, gosh, it got moved. If you think about it, if it was done when she was in high school, so all the time she's moved, leaving her family home to moving with her first husband, and then they traveled a lot because he was in the Navy, so from port to port and whatever, in different towns and different cities. So this portrait must have traveled with them all those times, and then after she was divorced and living on her own, and then when she married my dad and they moved a couple times, then they retired up north Michigan here, and this portrait would have had to have come every single move over the years. Why did this portrait show up? How did this happen? Was it a sign my mom was coming through? Was she trying to tell us something? Was she trying to say that now she's like in this youthful form? And I was having a really hard time tapping in to my mother's energy, especially the first few months that she died. My nephew Josh had some really great meditative experiences where he was tapping into my mom's energy. But it wasn't until recently I started dreaming about my mom, and I had this distinct feeling that she had been in the resting place. If you're familiar with Dolores Cannon's work, that's a term that comes up in her work for where souls just need a timeout after they die. So I really had the distinct feeling that she had been in the resting place for a few months, and then and now she's not in the resting place. Then recently I had this hypnosis session. As I was tapped into my higher self and my guides coming through in this hypnosis, they actually gave me a lot of clarity as to why and how this portrait appeared.
They're saying what you have to understand is that there are multiple planets and multiple dimensions where similar places pop up, that many similar timelines occurred simultaneously. So people and parallel lives seem to be operating in similar frequencies in multiple places, multiple timelines, and multiple dimensions. Essentially, your journey is going to be played out again and again with just tiny little changes each time. And it can be that like you literally go through the portal and you're in a parallel reality that's like basically almost exactly what you're living right now, but like there might just be a very small little change. You might come home and find that there's another object. Oh, that's making sense. This just happened with us, with a portrait of my mother that appeared in our house that no one knew existed. Like literally no one ever had seen it. They're saying that's the type of thing that can happen, that it's very subtle, but like suddenly something appears.
Was it the object that came forward into your reality, or was it that Alexandra stepped into an alternate reality?
When this portrait came into the reality, this was after we had our summer solstice ritual, and they're saying that that was actually a portal that was created by that ritual, and that's why it was a group experience and why no one had seen this portrait before or had been aware of it. They're saying that like when a portal is created in a ritual, that it can lead to a huge group transformation, like a whole group of people can change reality essentially. It can be really powerful, and this is just a really small example of what can be done to shift into another reality.
So, as I was saying in this hypnosis, the summer solstice created a portal for a group collective experience. So, when we performed this summer solstice ritual, coming together with intention and attention on my mother, on manifesting and creating amazing things in our lives, we actually created a portal through this ritual experience. And when we did that, the entire group of us shifted into a parallel reality. A parallel reality with just slight changes that are so subtle you might not think you've shifted into a parallel reality, into a reality where suddenly something appears that's never been there before. And one might think this thing appeared, like maybe it supernaturally appeared, like the ghost of my mother brought it into this existence. But instead, what the higher self and what the guides, what source was saying, we actually shifted into another reality. And I'd like to say we shifted into a better reality. A lot of people call this the Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is basically where people remember something one way, and then a group, a whole collective group of people in the world remember it a different way. One of my favorite examples is the Berenstain Bear books that you might have read in your childhood, or maybe you're a little older and you read them to your kids. I always remembered them being spelled ending in Stein. Now, for whatever reason, they are not spelled that way. They are spelled Stain at the end. And it's crazy. It's a crazy thing I can't even handle. That spelling is different, because spelling is my strong suit. I won a lot of spelling bees growing up, and to see that change happen, I don't even understand it. If you've ever experienced something like that where you're like, no, it was like this, but now it's like this, and you think you're just going crazy, or other people think you're crazy, I'm here to tell you you're not. You're not. You probably shifted into a parallel reality. But what was really fascinating about this hypnosis session is that the guides were coming in and saying, you can actually create this for yourself. You can create a portal on purpose. And it's the same thing as all the studies that have been done on the power of prayer, right? When people pray together or meditate together on one focused intention, we can shift reality. And that's exactly what happened, is that our small group, our small collective group, we're all focusing on something at the same time and created this portal. And that portrait appeared, or rather we appeared in the other reality, seeing that portrait as proof that a portal was created. So it was really there to show us, like, look, see what you can do? A portrait is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much that we can accomplish. There's so much that we can shift as a collective. There's so many things that if we want to raise our vibration and shift out of all of the horrible things. We don't have to experience war. We don't have to experience economic collapse. We don't have to experience anything that's been happening with this pandemic. We can all choose to shift. We can all choose to create a better reality and shift into that reality. So that's what I'm asking for you to do today, is to start shifting your focus, shift your attention, start praying, meditating, doing ritual, whatever it is that you vibe with. Have you ever had anything like this happen in your life? Have you ever had an experience where you may have stepped through a portal? I want to hear all about it in the comments. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want more material like this, there's more coming, so subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified, and we'll see you in the next video.